Aloha guys, how's it going out there? Welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited today to announce a new series called Is the Grind Worth It? That's right, we're gonna grind out bosses 100 times and ask the question, is the grind worth it? I don't know, we're gonna find out. In today's episode, we are grinding Katagawaball. Honestly, one of my favorite bosses to grind. He drops a ton of legendaries, and we're gonna find out today if it is worth grinding him for the amount of legendaries that you grab from him. So before we get started, before we get into it, I'd like to go ahead and explain how I kind of went about doing this and stuff like that. So, as I said before, we're grinding the Katagawaball 100 times. And I went ahead and split each section. I kind of split them into 4 sections of 25 runs each time, 25 deaths to the Katagawaball. And we're going to take a look at all of the items that he dropped. You know, all the rarity of each gun and certain things like that. We're going to take a look at how much money we made, as well as how much time we spent on grinding him. How long did it take to do 100 runs? I mean, some of you probably have a good idea, and honestly, I probably could have grinded him a little bit smarter here and there, but we're gonna take a look at it. Just a note, this is on Mayhem 3 with our Hunter Guardian rank all the way up, so we have 10% luck after 10% increased luck after every kill or something like that. We don't really take advantage of that because there's nothing to really kill with Katagawaball, but I do have that equipped, as well as I have my loaded dice on, which give me increased luck overall. But without further ado, let's get into it. Don't forget to like, comment on the video, let me know if you want to see other bosses as well. Follow my Instagram and my Twitch. Let's get into it. Alright, so our first 25 runs that we did facing off against Katagawaball, I found some pretty interesting numbers. Let's go ahead and get right into them. First up, we have our common weapons, okay? I thought a ton more common weapons were going to drop, but all I ended up getting was one common weapon. It's great to know you're grinding Mayhem 3, you're grinding out high levels of stuff, and you're only getting one common. That feels good. That feels great. Next, we have our uncommon weapons. So I thought we were getting a little bit too many uncommons for this, but we ended up getting 32 uncommon weapons in our first 25 runs of Katagawaball. A little high for me, but still, I think the other numbers will impress you as well. Let's move on to the next category. Our rares, our blues. I got 51. This is insane. 51 blues out of this. At this point in the game, if you're grinding Mayhem 3, you're doing all that, blues are kind of just not worth it, You're going to find purples, you're going to find legendaries that you're going to use way more often than blues. You're pretty much just grinding out a little more money if you do decide to pick up those blues. Anyways, next, onto our very rares, our purples. This was pretty interesting to me. We got 38 purples, more than the uncommon, less than the rares, pretty much right where I was kind of predicting it would be when I started the grind up. And that's honestly very rare. So you're gonna end up using some of those. I ended up using a very rare sniper for a long time because I couldn't find a legendary that I liked, but that's pretty cool. But now, what we've all been waiting for, the legendaries. How many legendaries I got in the first 25 runs of Katagawaball? And it was 26 legendaries. That's right, I pretty much got one legendary a run, a little bit over one a run, and that is insane. Now, let's go ahead and speed through these other 23 runs and get into the next section and look at some more numbers. So for the next 25 runs, our 26 through 50 section, the numbers are pretty consistent, I will say. Let's take a look right now. Okay, so for our common weapons, I got a big fat 0. That's right, no common weapons in this run at all. It's pretty crazy. I could have missed some here and there, but I was pretty thorough as I looked, and I just didn't see any common weapons. Pretty crazy. Again, just really nice to know that you're not getting screwed over with a lot of common weapons. Moving on to the uncommon section, we got 22 uncommon weapons. That's pretty cool. We got a little bit less. This is kind of where I was hoping the uncommons would be, at about 22. Nothing really too crazy, nothing like overwhelmingly you're just getting greens all the time. So yeah, I honestly like 22 is a good number for me for uncommon. Moving on to the rares, our blue items. We got 60 blue items, more than the first round. And honestly, I guess it's kind of replacing some of the greens that we didn't get. But again, those blue items, they're overwhelming on this Mayhem 3 mode. And I just pretty much left them there. You can again pick them up for a little bit of cash here and there. You probably find some pretty expensive one. Again, if you're on Mayhem 3, they're probably worth about anywhere from 15 to 20,000 a pop. So I mean, 60 times that, you're looking at some pretty decent money if you just wanted to farm up some money. Anyways, moving on to our purple section, our very rares. We got 30, a little bit lower. Again, everything was kind of lower except for the blues across the board. So our very rares, we got 30, not too bad, looking pretty good there. I still like to see that many very rares coming out of this. Pretty nice. And now for our legendaries, we got 26 legendaries again. This run we got the same amount of legendaries we got last run. This is crazy. I love it. It's showing consistency. It's showing the numbers exactly where I want them to be. Kind of just, honestly, it's crazy. I love it. I love to see these kind of statistics stacked next to each other. I hope you guys are having a good time too. But we're gonna move on to the next section here shortly after we fast forward through the next 23 or so kills again. So let's get to it. Alright, so now we have our 51 through 75 run that we took at Katagawa. The numbers are really interesting still. For common weapons, we got two common weapons, still low, a little bit higher than the first round, second round, but hey, still two's great. Alright, now moving on to the uncommon, we have 25 uncommon, a little bit higher. Again, this is where I like the uncommons to be. They're not dropping every time, but they're not dropping, so little that you're just getting tons of like legendary weapons that you have nothing to do with. So, moving on to our rares. Our rares, we got the highest we've got so far, 62 rares. That's honestly crazy still. Like I said, use them for money if you got them. Now moving on to the purples. Our purples. We got 25 purples, the same exact amount as the greens. The greens and the purples are coming in on both sides of the spectrum, almost equal every time. And that's honestly pretty normal to me. Pretty normal. Just nothing to say about that. But now we get into our legendaries. As you can see through these, I've been picking up legendaries like crazy. And this time we got 22 legendaries. That's pretty crazy. We're up into a lot of legendaries. We'll look at the end at the numbers totaled up. But yeah, go ahead, watch the rest of these kills. This one actually, 51, took a little bit longer than all the rest. I did not look at the, the mayhem modifiers that got tacked on whenever I was playing this. I just went for it. I didn't care. So some took longer, some were shorter, quick, over and done. But let's move on to our last round and then take a look at the total numbers after that. Okay, and we're back on run 76 through 100, our final run that we took at Katagawaball, and the numbers are pretty consistent overall. We're going to take a look at them totaled up and take a look at some statistics that I came up with based on these numbers, and I hope you guys find them interesting. But let's get started. For our common weapons, I got three common weapons. That is awesome. Again, I can't stress enough, common weapons pretty much do not exist on Mayhem 3. Definitely worth jumping into Mayhem 3 almost right away just for that reason alone. So for our greens, moving on, our uncommon weapons, we got a total of 29. Pretty consistent with all the other runs, and honestly, just that's honestly a good number. I'd like it to be lower, like I said in previous runs, but we're gonna live with it. For our blues, we got the lowest actually this time out of all the runs at 50 guns of rarity. Yeah, that's a thing. That's honestly, like I said before, sell them, make some money, do what you got to do with them. Moving on though to our very rares, our purples, we got 39. The most we got, beats out round 1 by 1 gun. And yeah, very rares, I honestly, like I said before, you're gonna use some very rares sometimes. It's just gonna happen. They have the perks that some of the legendaries do, they just don't do the special effects. So now, last but not least, our legendary weapons for this round. We acquired 28 golden legendary weapons. That's the most over all the rounds, and honestly, if you're doing the math in your head, you know the totals, and I'm just blown away. I can't believe that we were able to, pull that many golds out of 100 runs. I thought it was gonna, we have the luck and we have everything. I thought it was gonna be a lot lower when I was first doing it. So let's move on to our total numbers and then take a look at the percentage of the rarity out of total guns. Starting off, we have our white common weapons. We got a total of 6 common weapons for over 100 runs, and that totaled to a percentage of 1.05% of your total guns are going to be whites if you grind Katagawaball 100 times. you know, taking into consideration luck and all that, that's pretty much what it's gonna be. Moving on to our uncommon green weapons, we got a total of 108 uncommon weapons. I almost called them common weapons. Uncommon weapons for a percentage of 18.91%. Pretty much 19% of your guns out of 100 runs will be greens. That's still low. I like that. I'm hoping, you know, we're hoping purple's going to be a little bit higher percentage, right? We always want our purples and our golds to be, you know, decent percentages than your green. For our rares, our blue weapons, we have a total of 223 blue weapons. That is crazy. Just 223 weapons in general is crazy. There's no way you guys can pick those up. If you did, time would be wasted. You need to be grinding these legendaries. The grind, is it worth it? We're gonna look at the numbers. Anyways, a total percentage of 39.05. 39% of your guns are gonna be of the rarity. And yeah, that, just sell them. Do whatever with them. They don't really matter at the late game, but if you're looking to just get some, maybe you have a bunch of greens in your inventory, you need some blues, grind Katagawaball. 39% of the time, you're gonna get a blue. Moving on to our purples, the moment of truth, our purples and golds, right? We want to know. We got a total of 132 purple weapons, a little bit more than green, a little bit less, a lot less, almost 100 less than blue, but the percentage is 23.12% of your 100 runs weapons are gonna be purple. That's higher than green at 8. Green's at 19%. Purples are at 23%. Gotta love it. I'm so glad that purples are outweighing the greens here. It's awesome. So now, moment of truth, legendary weapons. What are we getting right for legendary weapons? We got a total of 102 legendary weapons. That is honestly crazy. I did not think I was gonna get anywhere near 100 gold weapons. I did pick up all the golds in these runs, and I ended up selling most of them because you can't hold that many golds. You just can't. I kept the ones that I thought were good, you know, and I did get some good ones. I got some Layudas, you know, just some common gold drops that happen, or world drops, I guess is what they're called, world gold drops or something. And then I got some pretty decent golds out of this. 102. That is a percentage of 17.86. Pretty much 18% of your drops are gonna be golds when facing Katagawaball, with all the luck that I had, maxed out to that. And on Mayhem 3, 102 golds. I mean, you ain't gonna scoff at that. That is some good stuff. 18% though. 18% of gold. A little bit less than your greens. So you're pretty much, whatever greens you're putting in, you're getting out some gold. So I say, just on that fact alone, I'm gonna answer the question. I think the grind is worth it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We're gonna go ahead and speed run this section right here, finish it off. If you like the video, go ahead, throw me a like. You can follow me on Instagram. Check me out on Twitch. You can come hang out, play some games. We play almost every day. And just as some bonuses before we head out, I got $8 million. Are they called dollars in here? Dollars. I got 8 million bucks per run. Pretty much, I mean, it was a little bit less, a little bit more here and there, like, you know, 500,000. I rounded, I always rounded up. So 8 million per run for a total of $32 million made. I mean, you can't beat that on running 100 runs. That's great. I did not count the sold legendaries that I got, so it's probably a little bit over 32 million, or, you know, just right about it. And another bonus is it took almost 42 minutes each run. Again, I did not check the modifiers, so they could have been, I could have checked the modifiers and been a little bit better about, taking care of myself and making sure my weapons were gonna, actually deal some good damage against him. That's all I have, guys. If you liked the video, remember, smash that like button. Let me know in the comment section below. Is the grind worth it? Do you think these numbers were what you were thinking was gonna happen? And also let me know down there what the next boss you want me to do. I kind of have some ideas, but if I get some feedback from y'all, I can grind those bosses as well. Like always, guys, y'all have a great rest of your night, day, whatever it is for you around the world, and we'll see you guys next time.